Happy Thursday, everybody. Another day, another podcast. Welcome back to Faith No Filter.
Real talk, real hope. Every story gets closer. Faith no filter. Hey, come as you are, let grace get nearer. Faith no filter. Honest hearts, clear truth, God at the center. Faith no filter.
Alrighty, so if you hear a buzzing in the background, don't mind that. My mic, I can never seem to get it right, but I'm just going to go ahead with the episode anyways. So today's episode is called Love is Not Love. And obviously, I'm going to go into explaining that a little bit more. But it's going to, I feel like, maybe challenge the way our culture talks about love. Because one of the most common phrases we hear today is love is love. It's on signs, social media, t-shirts, and in any conversation about relationships pretty much. But today I want to ask you a simple question. Is that actually how the Bible defines love? As Christians, we don't get our definition of love from culture. We get it from God because God is love. So let's just kind of go and see what scripture says about it. So our culture defines love as a feeling. The world tries to tell us that love is just following your heart. If you feel something deeply enough, then it must be right. And if two people care about each other, then that's all that matters. But that's the thing about feelings. Feelings always change. They're really powerful, but they are not trustworthy. In Jeremiah 17, verse 9, it says, "The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. Who can understand it?" The Bible never tells us to make our feelings the highest authority. Instead, it points us to God's truth. Biblical love is an action. One of the clearest passages about love is 1 Corinthians 13. And notice here that Paul does not define love as an emotion. He describes what love does. And it says, love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy or boast, it is not arrogant or rude, it does not insist on its own ways. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Everything it just mentioned, those are all actions. Jesus didn't simply tell us he loved us. He demonstrated his love by giving his life on the cross. In Romans 5 verse 8, it says, "But God demonstrates his own love for us in this. While we were sinners, Christ died for us." God's love wasn't just words, it was an action. One thing our culture often separates is love and truth. The Bible never does. Ephesians 4:15 tells believers to speak the truth in love. Truth without love, it does become harsh. But love without truth, it stops being biblical. Real love wants what is best according to God's design, not simply what we feel like is good in the moment. So then the question kind of comes up, what does this mean for conversations about sexuality? When people say love is love, they often mean that if two people genuinely care about one another, then the relationship should just be accepted. And as Christians, we know that everyone is made in the image of God and deserves dignity, respect, and compassion. Every single person. At the same time, we know that God has revealed his design for marriage and sexual relationships in Scripture. That means that sexual ethics aren't based on how strongly someone feels or who they're attracted to. They're based on what God has taught. Love means trusting God's wisdom even when it's difficult. We're all born sinners, but we are not called to stay sinners. We are called to be born again, and that means putting our old selves behind us. Jesus loved people without affirming everything. Think about Jesus and the woman caught in adultery. The religious leaders wanted to stone her, but Jesus protected her. He showed her mercy. He treated her with dignity. But he also told her, "Go and from now on sin no more." Jesus never sacrificed truth to show love. He never sacrificed love to speak truth. He held both together perfectly. Jesus said in John 15, verse 3, "Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friend." So there we know that real love sacrifices, serves, and obeys God. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is tell someone the truth with gentleness, humility, and compassion, even when that truth is unpopular. As followers of Christ, we are called to love every person because every person bears God's image. We are also called to let Scripture, not culture, shape our understanding of love. So maybe instead of saying love is love, we should ask, what does God say love looks like? Because if God is love, then He gets to define it, not us. So thank you guys for listening to Faith No Filter. And if this episode encouraged you, share it with a friend. And until next time, God bless.
No filter.